You might as well just go to the Grand Canyon. It looks the same.
And you can breathe.
And you can breathe.
Yeah.
There's plants.
Yeah.
If
You
get
don't
lost.
need specialized equipment.
There's a store nearby. You could just go like buy some.
You don't
food.
need to poop on potatoes.
There you go. Let's go.
I mean, you can. Could.
Butterscotch.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 75 of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast, Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Oh, hey there.
Hey,
I'm Seth, and I'm the games programmer.
I'm Adam, and I'm the Weber netter.
I'm Sam, and I'm Arthur.
And today's November 29th, 2016.
That was good.
Thank you.
It's very, very WW some other letter.
WWQ.
There's like 100 possible letters.
We're not getting big.
Also, we have a warning. Anything can happen on this show. There's going to be profanity and a whole bunch of other crap. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, or if you're a baby,
you've been warned.
then
Fairly.
get out of here. Or
Yeah.
just listen, but be upset.
Or if it's
just the
illegal
whole
for you
time.
to listen to it for some reason. Is
Yeah.
it? Because no, there's no way it's actually
No.
illegal. You just aren't supposed
It's just
to.
because it'll make you grow up so fast if you listen to it.
You're gonna lose your innocence.
Yeah.
You're gonna if you listen to this and you're 3, you'll have a beard like
Mhm.
that instantly.
A glass of aged scotch in your hand.
Yeah.
One of those
You'll
adult
get
man
those-
babies.
You get those crow's feet around your eyes.
Yep.
I'm talking literal crow's feet.
Yeah, there's gonna
You
be a
just
crow
have to-
standing on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or you
the
just
rest of your life.
paste crow's feet next to your
It's
eyes.
disgusting.
yeah, it's really disgusting. Being old is it's not
terrible.
pretty. It's not
Let's
pretty.
talk about the news. What we got going on?
Okay. This week we're in beta for the Crashlands Juice Mancy Patch.
Yeah.
Juice Mancy Patch.
Juice Mancy
The
Patch.
Juice
which,
Mancy Patch.
as we discussed, is very hard to say with proper emphasis.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Just try-
we've
just take
had
a
a
sec.
whole bunch of testers. How many testers total?
140 last I checked.
140. So pretty
Thanks.
good run and not too many bugs. They're all fixed. Everything that got reported. So now we're just kind of prepping things up and we're just kind of riding out the wave of something.
Can I want to tell a quick story about this.
But wait, when does it launch though?
Well, it launches next Tuesday, December 6th.
Yeah, on
And
everything.
on
On everything simultaneously, which what could go wrong? There's only a couple of us running this ship, and we have to do a massive worldwide deployment on multiple platforms in one day.
Yeah,
Nothing
and
go
I mean,
wrong.
worst
It'll be
case
fine.
scenario, everything just completely goes to shit and breaks, and then we have to build 6 separate versions of the game and send those out
Yeah,
simultaneously.
it's
again.
just not a
No
big,
big deal.
So that's what we're looking down the barrel of for the next week.
But I think on the plus side, we're going to be doing a sale.
Yes, so
Right.
there will
Wait,
be.
can we talk about that?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I mean, we can just say we're putting it on sale.
Well, we are, but can we? I don't know if we're allowed to say when. Though.
Yeah.
I think we're not allowed to say when.
Oh.
I think that's
Just
against.
pipe down.
I think that's strictly so.
Don't worry
So
about
I think
that.
it's okay to say we're going to, so we don't have to cut that part out. So keep our little peepers peeped. For
Although
for
I have to
sale-
say,
for
probably
sales.
people listening to this probably
They probably already buy it.
probably have the game already.
You guys are out of
But
luck.
Maybe
sorry
not
about
on
that.
Steam though.
Yeah, maybe.
If
Well, Adam, now
if
you
we
just-
were to go, if we were to go on sale on Steam at some unforeseen date, in the
Adam,
future.
God damn it.
if we were, but we're not. We'll just say it's not going to happen.
I'm going to move
ever.
on real quick. Anyway, so one of my favorite bugs from the patch, or I guess one that was actually not a bug, but then uncovered a bug on the back end
from the
was
Juice Mancy Patch.
that I think Spagadron, someone, or maybe it was you, someone pointed out that when they went into one of the new buildings,
Oh, that was me.
there's a chest on the western side of this building. And so, of course, very excitedly, Adam goes to open it, and lo and behold, just a single stick pops out of it, which I did on purpose because I thought it was hilarious. But Adam understands that on the back end, if you put a chest into the game and you put a loot table in it so that it can drop stuff, the default item that it drops is actually a stick. So Adam thought
I thought it was a bug.
that I just messed up.
Because stick has an item index of 0.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but I
the
think
very
somebody
first
else
item we
also
get.
reported it as a bug.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
seems like one.
Yeah,
so,
it seems unintentional.
So what I decided to do, Adam mentioned this, and I was like, okay, so obviously we need to take this joke up a notch. So I went into the creator on the back end, went into this chest, and I was like, I'm just going to make this thing explode with sticks. So it's going to drop like 23 sticks at once, which means that because of how the game throws items, they're going to try to land on any open spot around chest, which means that
Just
because
everywhere.
there's just sticks all over the place. You're going to hit this chest, it's just gonna be like a stick.
It's going to be raining sticks.
And so I'm just going to giggling to myself, go and try to fix this. It turns out the back of the creator is a little broken. So
Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed on it. I haven't touched
I don't know what happened.
the creator for
The creator was just
Never.
like, hey, whoa. This is way too many sticks. Take it down
I
a
think the
notch.
creator just got my joke and was like, nah, don't let these haters hate, man. You just do
Yeah.
You leave that one stick in there.
You leave it alone.
Yeah, so as a
Stay
workaround
true to your
because
dreams.
because version 2 of the creator is actively under development and is well on its way to being complete. But is literally just a different piece of software than the current creator. And so my options are either go fix that bug, which has no reason to exist, but obviously does, or just be like, nah, I'll just modify the database directly to add those sticks.
In uncharacteristic Adam fashion, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to open up the database, find that chest, and put more sticks in it. Hard-coded in the back. So that was hilarious.
Which was done. But this brings up an interesting point, which I think has come up in the past. That is, when you're trying to tell a joke, especially in the context of these games that we're making, where we have these bizarre, goofy jokes, it's never clear whether the thing that you're doing is a joke or you being an idiot or creating a bug.
Yeah.
Right. And we actually had this conversation earlier,
especially with the kinds of jokes that we like to make.
Yeah,
you know?
But Sam and I were having right, exactly. And Sam and I were having this conversation about the new Pokemon game, because I was playing it, and there's just the story seems so dumb. The way that you interact with the characters, like things seem so dumb, especially like the Skull. Fucking Team Skull, whatever. And they appear and they're just doing this ridiculous dance thing as they're just while they're talking to you, right? And I was just like, I was looking at this and I was like, it doesn't feel intentional. It feels just dumb, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
but Sam's argument, he's like, no, I think they got that this was a joke and they did it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
But you have to accumulate more and more data over the game to see these instances to actually decide if on the whole they're actually a joke or dumb.
Right.
And which I think with Pokemon we fell on the side of a joke after seeing more stuff. But with our games is the same problem we run into all the time. We actually have many jokes that we come up with where then one of the other three of us is like, we can't do that because people are just going to think we're dumb.
Yep.
Right? It's not, they won't understand that we did this as a joke.
That we were that dumb on purpose, which is what makes it funny.
Yes.
It's about
as opposed to
intent.
just be dumb. Yeah.
So, jokes on you guys. I'm not really stupid. I was just
put a stick in there.
Just put a stick in there.
But on a follow-up from last week, when we talked about not finishing games in a long time, I actually beat Pokemon over the last week. Of course, this is because of Thanksgiving.
This is the new Pokemon.
Careful, spoilers.
Oh yeah.
What happens at the end of Pokemon?
I can't tell you.
Do you fight the Elite Four?
Dumbledore dice.
Oh shit.
But I was actually.
And it turns out you were a ghost the whole time.
Oh my god.
It's like Final Fantasy.
And Dumbledore was also a ghost.
Yeah, everybody was a
ghost. Dumbledore was your father, actually.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about the story in Pokemon is it takes so long before, because Team Skull, like you said, super dumb. And repeatedly are dumb, actually pretty much through the whole thing. And until you understand what their role is in all of these crazy events that start happening, but they don't start happening until like 12 hours into the game story. So up until then, they're doing, I think, is actually, they do this really good job of actually just setting up place, right? Where they say, you're in this place, here's how the world works, here's all this fun stuff to do.
These dumb Team Skull people.
There's Team Skull people are just they're just causing problems, but they're stupid. Whatever, doesn't matter.
I think
you slowly realize it matters.
I think what happens is, I've played a game for 8 seconds. So just bear in mind.
I think it's 8 minutes.
Or 8 minutes, sorry. It was long enough that I was able to save. Then I stopped.
That must have taken at least half an hour.
I think what happens with Team Skull is that they are being manipulated by an actual smart person who is propaganding them into dancing their way across the nation.
It's probably true.
And crushing all opposition.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I do want to say, as far as that whole like taking 8 minutes before you can save the game, the final cutscene of this game is, I shit you not, 25 minutes long. And at one point in the middle of the cutscene, you're not able to save, and it forces you to fight a legendary Pokemon, which of course you can only catch at that point. And so in other words, if you fail to catch it, you're like, I want to redo this. You gotta and then it goes on for another like 15 minutes after that. Okay. If anybody's getting close to the end, I'm just going to warn you.
Potion up.
Just get your balls ready.
And get your balls ready and get your battery juiced.
Yeah, because actually my battery was low, and I was fighting through the final 4 of the game, and Elite Four. Of course,
cutscene's going. You're like, oh, no problem, Mike.
Well, no, I was about to enter the final fight, and my fiance was like, "You should," or my wife. God damn it, my wife was like, "You should really plug your thing." And like, I'm pretty sure we're getting close to the end. There might be a long cutscene. And I was like, "No, I don't want to go 5 feet and plug this in. I'm in the middle of my battle.
I'm in the zone."
And then she convinced me to, and thank God, because I would have just died in the middle of this 30-minute cutscene, and I would have had to replay the damn thing again and again. Anyways,
pro tip: don't do that, game developers.
Yeah, don't do it. Next thing I want to talk about real quick is a couple of incidents of mild sort of mind losing that's been happening to me recently.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
So first thing that happened was we get back from Iowa on Sunday.
Where they were for Thanksgiving, because that was last week.
Yeah, and I want to say we were super thankful the entire time.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It was
that's
great.
the only way you could be.
And get back and get everything put away. And I'm like, I cannot find my phone charger. What is happening? It's just nowhere to be found. And decided, I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just go to work the next day with this phone that's nearly dead and plug it into one of our various tablet devices we got powered up. So I go about doing that. And my wife sends me a text about 10 o'clock in the morning. She's like, hey, I found your charger. It's in the laundry basket.
Wait, this was after you got back?
Yes.
Oh yeah, this is probably because it was just in your bag, and so you pulled out all your clothes and the charger in one go.
I want to think that's the case.
I want to believe.
But for some reason I don't, because also that night I had made some calls on my phone and then put things in my pockets, and I was walking out of my room and I was like, oh wait, I need to make another call. Feeling around in my pants, can't find my phone. Like, what? Where is it? Look in my hands, because sometimes I forget that it's in my hands.
Just look at both hands.
It's not in my hands.
Did you double check your hands?
I'm like, okay.
Still
check
I think
my
this
desk.
should actually be your first instinct. Is if you ever go, where is a thing? Then
Check
just
your hands.
hold up both hands and look at them first.
It solves the problem sometimes. So I go back in my office, I'm scouring around. I'm like, what? I don't understand. I literally just used this device a moment ago. Check my hands again, check my pants. I'm like, what? And then I'm walking out and go to sort of feel my back pocket, which is the places that I only keep my wallet ever. It's the only thing ever back there. And my phone's in there.
Was your wallet in there too?
No, I don't know where my wallet went. My wallet was gone. It's like, someone's messing with me.
Every time you put something in your pocket, you lose something else.
Is it possible that this is the next evolution of the chocolate demon?
It might be. Well, here's the final one.
He just moves your electronics and your other belongings from pocket to pocket and bin to bin.
Here's the final one from this morning. And perhaps further proof that my grasp on reality is slipping. I bought some bread last night, bread rolls. And you gotta be very careful at the store, because if you buy like the nice bread that they bake in the grocery store, then sometimes for some goddamn reason, they poke a bunch of holes in the bag. So the bag itself is one of those plastic bags that actually
so the bread can breathe or it'll die.
yeah. So it's basically, I don't know if that's the theory.
A bread bag is sort of like a terrarium for yeast.
Yeah. So you get this bag, and if you're not, you can feel it. Or you can look at it and you can see if it's got little pock marks all over it, then it's one of these bags that actually has tons of holes in it, which is obviously terrible.
Maybe it's because they put the bread in like freshly hot.
I think that's
they
what
don't
they
want
do.
the water to condense.
That's exactly right. But of course, if you're not paying attention to it, then you bring it home, you just lay it on the counter, and then it's literally
your
stale.
cats eat it.
Or your cats eat it.
Yep.
So
your cats slip in through the holes in the bag.
they eat the bread. Yeah. So I buy this stuff, and then I think this is just further convincing my wife that I've lost my mind, because I buy this bag, and then last night I had like shoved the whole bag and all of the bread as one unit underneath this like bread sort of case thing that we have. And Diana looks at it, she's like, why is there bread in a bag in that thing? And I was like, it's one of those bags that has holes all over it. You know, it's terrible. I explained this situation to her.
She's like, why didn't you just take it out of the bag?
Okay. Well, then, so this morning we make food, and Diana toasts the buns out of this thing. And then she sends me a text about an hour ago, and of a picture of the bag. And she's like, there are no holes in this bag.
To be fair, I didn't even know this was a thing that happened, like that you put holes in bags. Is that
Maybe
just a
this
thing
has never been the case, and Sam has just been
feel like
hallucinating
I'm
bag
losing my
holes.
shit.
I gotta say, but I feel like I have a pretty good losing sense of reality story as well, where one day I was like, I'm gonna make some eggs. So I make some scrambled eggs, and as is my custom, I made
100 of them.
Yeah. I just get an 18 because I'm like, I don't want to cook eggs twice or 3 times. You know, I mean, 9 eggs at a time, right? So I'll just make 18 eggs, put the rest in Tupperware, you know, eat 9.
Seth is basically chicken Satan at this point.
Eat 9 eggs, throw 9 eggs in Tupperware, and just put those in, away. So I do this, and then a couple days later, my wife is like, I'm gonna cook some paneer or something. So she starts cooking food, and then we eat. We have a nice dinner, and then afterwards, she's like, "Oh, I gotta put the food in the fridge, right?" So she goes and opens up the cupboard to get the Tupperware out, and what's in there? My eggs.
So you cooked 18 eggs and then put them in a Tupperware and then put them
I put the
in the
Tupperware
cupboard.
back in the cabinet instead of in the fridge because I was busy. I had things going on. You know, I can't be putting stuff in the right
You know,
place.
there's this absent-minded professor stereotype, but I feel like the absent-minded game developer might be one step closer to dementia at all times. All right, next up we got going on tomorrow. We're actually going to have a jam day. So you guys anyone want to tell the lovely listeners what a jam day is at Butterscotch?
Yeah, it's a work jam, and it's because we love getting lots of work done. It just feels really good to go. You come in, you have nothing else to do. You just decide the rest of your life doesn't exist, and then you just crush some
you
project.
just neglect your loved ones, your friends,
Babies.
Yeah, pretend
hygiene.
like they don't exist. Write them all off, and then you just do some work. And we used to do this
Pretty regularly.
Every
couple weeks.
Yeah, every couple weeks probably. And it was mostly when it was kind of a chance to reset our approach to work and our approach to life, and to get sort of a jump start on projects that have been kind of dragging.
Yeah, because the beauty of a jam is when you're there for 12 hours or something, and you have nothing else to worry about. You pick a big project for the day, and that's your focus is getting that thing done or moving it ahead into a really measurable degree. And so being able to just sit down, not have anything else to worry about, and jam that thing out, it allows you a huge degree of productivity that you can never otherwise get.
Yeah.
Especially because of the time frame, right? So like normally if you're working, 8 or 9 to 5 or something like that, which is pretty typical, then, you work for a couple hours and it's lunchtime, right? So you don't want to start a huge project before lunch because you only have a couple hours, right? And then after lunch, then you settle in, you get your tasks organized, you're kind of sleepy. So maybe about 3 o'clock, you finally kind of get revved back up and you're like, okay, let's get some work done. And then you sit down and you're like, I only got 2 hours. So I can't possibly do a big thing, right? So by actually chunking out a 12-hour block, then you just put yourself in a position where you're just like, I'm going to work on these huge projects. So we enjoy the shit out of it, which is funny because like there's crunch in the game dev industry, right?
Yeah.
And
So I guess what's the difference between crunch?
I think the difference is
jam?
crunch is top down and a jam is bottom up.
there you go.
In that the people in the trenches are like, they love what they're doing and they feel like they haven't gotten enough time to do it. Right. And so it's actually a social effort where everybody takes advantage of the energy of everybody else just throwing themselves into some work to also throw themselves into work.
Sort of like being in the trenches.
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a manufactured trenches. So there actually isn't any stress, right?
That's actually the key because like we never do this. We do not do jam days around the times when we have actual boatloads of sort of forced work to do. So for example, like the patch is coming out next week and we're looking at our calendars. We're like, if we want to do a jam day, the only day we could do it is actually tomorrow because we're going to be stressed as fuck from this patch. So it's weird because we don't use them.
No, because they're a sacred thing that's supposed to be for fun and for working on and for getting a big start on the stuff you really are excited about hitting. Because, of course, like with all jobs, working on games has a high degree of tedium to it.
It's a grind, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to come up with the designs and come up with the ideas and sort of throw ideas out about characters and stories and whatever. But then you got to actually do it. And that takes forever.
I do feel like this is something a lot of people just don't get.
They don't get that jump.
Like creative enterprise generally either.
Yeah,
like if you're a writer, coming up with a story is fun, but banging it out for 6 months is not.
Yeah, writing it as a 150,000 word novel and proofreading it over and over again.
It is fun, but the joy, it's a different kind of joy, right? Where the joy is actually in the work itself. And if you can't find joy in just throwing yourself into work and trying to crush some project,
trying to make meaningful progress on things,
where when other people call that thing a grind, if you can call that joy, you're gonna do fine.
Oh yeah, solid. Speaking of which, we do have an art job open right now. You can check it out at jobs.bscotch.net for a 2D artist. So you'd work with me, I guess.
Sam's gonna teach you
make cool stuff.
How to make pitches.
I'm gonna teach you how to be.
Well, you probably already know how.
You should already know, but you
definitely need to already.
Yeah, you gotta know Inkscape. You got to learn Inkscape and then some of the techniques that Sam has developed for making art.
Yeah, so that's what you'll learn from Sam.
Unbelievably fast.
So we've already gotten actually 130 applicants for the position. So feel free to throw your name in the hat and we'll be checking everything out probably in like 2 weeks or so. I think is when we'll be.
You
kind
can
of
find the
starting to
deets
tighten
at
it
jobs.bscotch.net. You can learn a little bit more about just the company, and then scroll down, find the app, and you can
Just bear in mind, because of our focus on process and speed and efficiency, then one B-Scotch artist is the equivalent of 32 regular artists.
That's true.
In
Fact.
terms of output.
Yep.
So if that sounds like something that you think you can do,
If you want to get in on these jams,
right? Yeah, you will not be laboriously crafting one work of art over a week.
you'll be laboriously crafting 1,000
Exactly.
in a week.
Yeah.
All right, next thing is Adam's about 12 hours deep into an insane mode playthrough of Crashlands. So
Well,
this is
since
after not having played it for.
I haven't played it in
Ever,
any
I guess?
meaningful way since I played through the entire game during the beta a year ago.
That was when everything was kind of broken too,
Yeah.
story-wise and everything else.
Yeah, so I played through it all then, and I think basically like starting midway through the beta, so most stuff was fixed at that point, but I was still looking for bugs.
What device are you playing on?
right now?
Yeah.
I'm playing mostly on my Android phone.
Okay.
But then otherwise also on my laptop with a controller because I want to test out how controller feels, which is really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it. I actually don't have that many achievements because I played the game back before we hooked up all of the perks, and
And
so
you're like, oh, I need these achievements, man. I gotta
so
get
now
my
I need these perks, and of course
gamer score
the
up.
elusive hardest one is going to be beating the game in insane mode, and that'll give if you can do that and do all the other stuff, then now you've got all the things unlocked.
Yeah,
So
because
I
on
was
the plus side, when you beat the game on insane mode, it also gives you the
Exactly.
achievements for the other game completion.
So I was like, I'll just do it on this play because I figured it would be good now that we're ramping up. It's sales season coming up, which we may or may not be participating in sales. Keep your eyes peeled for sales that may or may not happen. But this is coming up, which means we're going to get, fresh players in, Crashland itself, we're well past the launch, but even the last time we did a sale on Steam over the summer, we actually got in about as many new players as we had at launch on Steam specifically. And so that means we're gonna have a lot of new players coming in. And it's already the case that when I'm looking through our Reddit subreddit or our forums, people are asking questions about Crashlands. I'm like, fuck, I have no idea what the answer to this is. I haven't played this for a year.
And we have talked about how the development of the game was sort of like the Manhattan Project, where you guys don't have any idea of sort of the numbers behind the scenes of like how things drop or how things are balanced. And I don't know almost any of the quest information. Yeah. People ask me about quests that I've never even heard of. Like, I don't even know that they're in the game.
Well, we had this hilarious thing happen yesterday because I made all the Juice Mancy quests in about a day and a half last week, and it ends up adding about like I think probably 2.5, 3, maybe 4 hours of content to the game. And someone, I think it was you, Adam, actually, or someone else in the feedback forum said that Esther the Nestor was too hard of a wat to kill. Which, if that sounds
what
like
they said
jargon,
was that Esther the Nestor kept going through the walls.
It was both of those.
it was both.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the fuck is Esther the Nestor?"
Well, and then
Sam was like,
as the
I don't
person
know.
who wrote it, and who also apparently doesn't know what holes in bread bags look like, was like, "What is Esther the Nestor?"
Yeah, what is that?
I made it a week ago, and I forgot about it.
Fortunately, Adam played it, and so
Which
Adam
is one of the reasons to have somebody actually play.
and Adam had fought Esther the Nestor, so at least one person out of the three of us knew what a thing in our own game was.
Yeah.
So we got it
exactly.
fixed.
So I figured
I feel like I'm working on the Manhattan Project myself.
Just in your
I don't
own
even,
life.
I don't even know. I don't even know what I made last
Where's
week.
my charger?
you give yourself a memory
How'd this
wipe.
chocolate get in my phone?
I'm so dumb. Yeah, I'm really enjoying, or I'm really looking forward to over winter break. I'm gonna take a controller, spend some time with Crashlands because I think it's been long enough. Clearly, Apparently, maybe it only needed like a week for me to forget everything. So it's been long enough that I should be able to play through it and actually enjoy it for what it is, as opposed to.
I would say insane mode. I would not recommend.
Oh, I'm loving
all
insane
up on
mode.
that.
I'm 11 hours into my.
Is that where you just get one shot of everything?
Yeah.
One thing I
just
like
have to
about
not get hit.
one
It's
thing I
the
like about
strategy.
insane mode is because the combat is fucking hard. That I have a tendency to not go as aggressively after creatures, and I'll spend more time harvesting other stuff. So even my base is dope. Like it is huge, and I'm 2/3 of the way through the savannah. But I just have this massive sprawling. I've got
How many
stone floors everywhere.
gravestones do you have?
Oh, I think I have maybe 70.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just built my 4th Tenacity Monument, which for those of you who haven't played or ever or in a
Or
while
died
anyway,
too much.
Or died that much. It's a new thing we added in the
Quality
life patch, I think, in the summer, which is we noticed that there are people dying a lot. And so we were like, oh, this is now a resource because you die so many times that tombstones are a resource. So
What can we craft out of them?
we added the Tenacity Monument out of 20 gravestones to show off your
Just how much
tenacity,
you die.
how would you die? And so I just built my fourth one, and I'm still in the savannah on Insane Road. So,
Yeah.
it's something.
Well, let's talk about another thing Crashlands related. It's the last bit of news from this week. Crashlands got named the Times Top 10 Games of 2016.
Yeah.
Which is a step up, I think, from what we had earlier, which was top 50 apps.
Yeah, I think top 10
That's-
games overall when you're compared, because we're in company with Battlefield and The Witness.
Yeah. So it's not just mobile games or whatever. It's just games.
Just games.
I think we're one of the few mobile games that are in there, or I guess games that are on
mobile available games.
Mobile available.
Blah, 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 blah.
So that's pretty cool.
I thought it was interesting in particular because all of these best of 2016 lists are going to be coming out really quickly now. I know lots of our journalist friends have been compiling them and talking about it. So these are all going to come out, and I guarantee you nobody's top 10 list is going to look anything like the time.
No, I mean, No Man's Sky was on the list,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, while impressive for a variety of reasons, probably not.
For a game that has a
Best.
50% review score is interesting.
Yeah,
Is it that good?
I think it's been creeping up.
No, I mean, it's literally, the last time I checked, it was overwhelmingly negative on
Oh,
Steam.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which
I
is
guess
the
yeah, I
worst. It's
haven't looked
literally
at
the
it.
worst I've ever seen.
Hell hath no fury like a gamer scorned.
No.
What's amazing is that there can be that many reviews while it still has that low of a score.
I know.
Because
Well,
you
it's
would
like the
you'd
past
think at a
30
certain
days.
point people would see
Yeah.
it and they'd be like, look at the score and be like, oh shit, 8%. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah,
No, people could just keep buying it.
The
It's too
past
compelling.
30 days has another like 5,000 reviews, which is still more than the vast majority of games get on Steam by a lot. And they're overwhelmingly negative, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't
People
know.
are like, everyone
I don't
told
know
me not
what's
to buy
happening.
this.
People look at the screenshots and
bought it.
stuff and then they look at the review score and they just squint. They're just like,
Yeah, well,
I don't
and-
trust these people.
It's
I'm going
it's
in.
so weird. But even reading some of the reviews, like there was one review that stood out in particular because the way that the person worded it implied that they bought it just so they could pile on to the negative review.
This is interesting. So
What?
Yeah.
there's the Lost Garden blog, which I think we mentioned it last week or we were chatting about at some point. Lost Garden blog, where I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a fantastic writer and he does a bunch of game stuff. And he talked about recently, he just commented on a Gama Sutra article that was talking about No Man's Sky because they had a big update come out. And he said it's really weird that hating stuff has actually become like a hobby nowadays.
Yeah.
And you gotta be real careful. He's like, this is gonna get weirder. And the people who are gonna get punished the most are actually small studios who don't have a PR company basically guiding them and then also taking the brunt of the punishment when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And
Because you want people to. But
it's freaky.
I think this is. I don't think this is any more true today. It's just easier for that hobby to sort of feed on itself because of
Because there's so many things to hate, there's just content popping up everywhere.
well, what people
to be
tend
mad
to
about.
just
hate everything.
but they tend to only hate a small number of things at a time, right? So it's more just it's so easy to be hateful so quickly and use and at so many people at once via Twitter primarily, right? Twitter is like it's the best vehicle for hate in the universe right now.
It's a weird, angry place.
Well, I think it's just because
Hate first, questions later.
it's with a 140 character limit, anger is sort of the punchiest of
Oh yeah.
emotions, right? I
Yeah.
mean, conveying love or joy or happiness towards somebody, sometimes, there's some nuance to it.
Maybe it takes a poem.
Yeah, but if you're angry about something, you got just a whole slew of 4-letter words you can just throw in there.
Yeah, you can just or you can just say die.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So easy, so concise.
Yeah, just boom.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, fits in a tweet. You could put 20 of those in a tweet if you
Well, I
want.
want to get us away from Twitter because fuck that place. So
Yeah,
let's go
it's
back to the Time Award because I want to talk about a little bit for other devs out there, or even players. What is it like for us to receive something like the Time sort of top 10 designation thing, and what does that actually mean for us? Because I think we've had a few people we got some texts yesterday from friends who were like, "Oh my god, you guys got this thing. Does that mean you're famous?" We're like, "No."
Nope.
But and I think our response to that maybe is confusing to someone who hasn't been dealing with what we've been dealing with already. So,
or even to many who have actually.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what is an award for and what's sort of our response to it and why. Because a lot of people do get very excited about them, and we tend to say, "Oh, that's really cool," and then just move on. So.
And we can
the deal?
we can extend this into even things, other kind of honorary things like being given the opportunity to give a talk at GDC, which is actually just another kind of award.
Or even just getting a really, really good review of your game on a major site or something. They all come out the same, which is to say
it's all the same thing.
Yeah, we think about these as drops in a bucket, which isn't to say that they are meaningless, right? Because if you want to fill a bucket, you gotta do it with a lot of drops. But any individual, you can't attribute the fullness of the bucket to any one particular drop.
I like to use the metaphor of a Katamari ball
Yeah.
for this, right?
Okay.
Where, and this is actually the approach we took early on too, when no one was paying attention to anything we did, which is that the general press approach is that you target the smaller blogs that devs usually won't even try to play ball with, and you send them codes and you say, hey, we have this game coming out. It'd be great to get a review from you. And you use those then to leverage a review out of a slightly bigger publication and then a slightly bigger one. So you literally do this sort of rolling up of reviews and that sort of thing. The weirdest thing to us about the Time one is that we didn't know that it was a thing. We've had no contact with anybody. I don't think I even sent them a note when Crashlands came out or at any time in the past.
Well, it's not. You don't normally think of Time Magazine when you're thinking of
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Right?
people that send a game.
But I think that's why
stuff.
this one in particular, I think actually to me means the most because we didn't send them notes to
didn't
try to
actively
get it. You know what I'm saying?
solicit it, yeah.
And so that's really cool. That like, essentially, what it sounds like is that person essentially just found the game of their own accord, played the crap out of it, was like, this is good, and then put it in their stuff. And that's really neat. But I think the overall point with the awards is that they are sort of just pieces of a larger puzzle, and we don't get so much excited for the award as what the award might be able to let us. Sort of what the doors are that it might open up, because it's always nice to have a stamp of approval. Like we had this at PAX when we were in the PAX 10. We'd go walk around downstairs and talk to other devs, and there's tons of game developers walking around PAX and trying to talk to each other and schmooze and stuff. And so when we go up and say, hey, we made this game, we're Butterscotch Shenanigans, they'd be like, okay. And then we say, oh yeah, we're in the PAX 10. They're like, oh yeah, okay. Like what's up? How you doing? And because it's basically just a stamp of approval, like you're not just some schmuck, And I think that's kind of what we're storing these up for.
Well, we still might be schmucks.
We're totally schmucks, but
Well, yeah, it's,
We're just schmucks with a stamp of approval.
Yeah.
right. It doesn't actually mean that in any important sense that we are one of the 10 best games of the year.
Correct.
I would argue against that, right? Because there have been some fucking amazing games that came out this year. I think ours is quite good, but shit, top 10, right?
But we can do better.
We can do better. But I think importantly, it's that these sort of stamps of approval are coming from there. It's always an arbitrary set of metrics, right? There's no real way just to say, yes, this is how these things should be ranked. This is what's important. This is what's not, and so on. It's just you get your stuff to the right person with the right message, and that stuff combines with the arbitrary set of things that they care about specifically, and taken together, they're like, okay, yeah, this is a thing that I like, and then they want to go talk about it and support you. And so for us, we, as Sam was saying earlier, we actively solicited basically every single stamp of approval that we've gotten, kind of except for this one, right? But we sent tons and tons of emails and try to meet with people in real life and try to do all this kind of stuff.
Well, even for the PAX 10,
Even for PAX
you
10,
have to put your name in the hat.
You put your name in the hat.
submit.
Yeah, exactly. You submit it, so you're one of a few hundred or whatever people who submit.
Right. And the crafting of that pitch was not just like let me just bang out a paragraph and shoot off.
Yeah.
No, it was
We
like a
made this
day-long-
game. Here, look at it.
Yeah. So I think that's an
was
important thing to
carefully
note
crafted.
is that anytime you see someone getting an award, you have to understand that
They weren't just given that award.
it doesn't just appear. Like you have to actually try to get it. And I think this is one of the things that indie devs in particular, at sort of when you first start, don't really get about how the whole system works, which is it works like anything else, which is that people can only sort of bring to the top or bring to awareness what they know exists. And even if you have a good game, most people don't know it exists.
Yeah.
Period. Even if you have a good game that's been featured on iTunes and Steam and Google Play, most people still do not know it exists.
Because it was
we
only featured for a moment in time.
Yep.
So whenever we approach press and stuff, we assume they actually have no idea, and not in a aggravated way.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, there's a game Crashlands we made. It's really good. Also, it's on Time's top 10 games list now.
Yep.
And hopefully we can use that to get some of these publications who haven't paid any attention to us.
Social proof.
Mhm.
But that's about it.
Yeah, it's interesting and it's sort of personally gratifying to get these kinds of things, because what it means is that we've done a good job at what we've been trying to do, which is craft a message and a product that people care about and then let them know about it, right? That's basically what this is sort of the seal of approval of. It doesn't actually, because that's one of the important lessons that we've learned, which is that these things don't lead to more sales of your game.
Correct.
But they're things that you can use to talk about your game in a more and with more social proof in it,
which can eventually sort of, down the road somewhere just kind of broaden awareness of your game, so that the next time you get visibility of that thing, more people can see it and more people will have heard of that thing before, and so on.
Yeah, I think the mistake that you can fall into, even if you do make a really good game and you get some kind of recognition, is to just sit there, right? You can't just assume that because somebody, handed you an award or put you on a list or whatever, that all of a sudden you're going to just get a huge spike of new players or a new, renewed interest from the press or whatever. You take that little nugget and you just start running around and showing it. Right?
The reality is when you get an award, you actually have just gotten a huge amount of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
just a list of chores of people to go talk to.
Well, you can
about.
think of it as an award is also a product being sold by the person who gives the award, right? But they're making it your job to go sell that product now, right? And you're selling that product in order to sell your own product. So it's actually now twice as hard to right? So, of course, if it's a really good institution that's providing this award, then they have their own mechanisms by which to sell this thing. But a lot of awards that you get, especially from smaller institutions, they're asking you to sell their product. That award isn't going to help you even in the slightest in any meaningful way. They're attaching their name to you because they think that you're going to be successful, and then people will see this award next to your successful thing.
I think this is an important note about thinking about your relationship with the press generally, is that if someone writes a review, takes the time to write a review about your game, you should blast that out on whatever media channels that you have.
Yeah, help them out. They've made a product.
That's the reality, is that they've made a product that of course is based on your product.
Although if they were angry about your game or whatever,
you're not obligated.
You're not obligated to. But I'm saying, if it's a sort of thing where even if it's if it's basically a good plus sort of review, or if it's the case that it's for a publication, maybe didn't give you a good review, but that you've been trying to get your damn toe in the door for, then it may be worth, taking the time to actually send that out and be like, oh, hey, we got a review in IGN, whatever. It was middling, but
we respect their opinion.
We're just happy to be in the publication.
Well, yeah, because in the same way that accolades are just the right arbitrary combination of factors, right? It's the same way when you get a negative review. And negative reviews probably aren't going to have much of a consequence on you anyway. So
yeah, keep in mind, we did have one from Destructoid.
Yeah,
which we never sent out.
Yep.
It wasn't a review; it was a preview.
It was a preview. The person who did it was just weirdly angry.
And they hated the game so much they couldn't even bring themselves to play it enough to write a review.
Yeah. They were, and I'm not sure if we just hit that person in a weird point.
That's exactly what happened.
There's lots of stuff going on, so I'm not sure what.
Just for some reason,
I was I could just sense that as they were writing the preview, they were just throwing up in their mouth the whole time.
Right. Well, the reason we actually didn't push that one forward was actually because it didn't involve any good critique. It was literally just this guy being angry and then making really mean jokes about stuff constantly. Yeah. And just kind of being mean. And we're like, this isn't good. This isn't good critique.
We're
material.
just gonna let that one lie.
Let it die. But I think there's the final point about award stuff is that you also can't do this for the awards.
No,
you really can't,
because awards do not sell games.
They don't. They're arbitrary.
You do it.
You sell games.
Yeah, they're arbitrary. And then the reality is we talked about this before we launched the game, but we had this very intense sit down. We were planning out, okay, what do we do if these variety of things happen? And the baseline understanding for all of us was, even if this game makes no money, the reality is that we will be super proud of the particular product we made.
Yeah.
We won't be proud of the way we sold it, obviously, but we this game is good and we know it's good.
Yeah, we don't need additional approval.
Exactly. And I think you got to get to that point of self-confidence with the products you make before you can reliably,
being honest.
Yeah, being honest.
Being honest. Yeah.
Before you can reliably accept rewards without the large set of negative consequences that actually can come from getting one, which is that you can sort of lose focus or start putting all your eggs in that basket.
And I mean, the best awards, like the most acclaimed awards, right? As which again are products in and of themselves, are given to things that were already successful, like universally.
Yeah, that does
That's what
happen.
they're for. This is not somebody trying to help you sell your game. This is somebody attaching their name to you
Because you already did the work to make it successful.
and which is not to say that that's something you should avoid or anything like that. This is not even a political stance. That's just a fact of how it is, right? And so if you want accolades in your industry, which isn't, I mean, that's a useful and interesting and important thing, then still in the end, you have to make a good product and sell the shit out of it first and get awards second or never, because the best move is just sell your game, make another one, sell that one too.
Yeah.
Ignore awards completely.
Let's get to some questions.
All right. First question comes from Pop183. And by the way, you can ask these questions at podcast.bscotch.net. You guys threw a bunch of new ones in there after last week when we asked you to. So thanks a bunch.
Let's hit them right in the mouth.
All right. First question comes from Pop183, who says, what is your favorite book series? It's not game related, but you know.
I feel like we had this.
We have talked about this briefly before, so just hit it. Give me a name.
Mine was the Culture series from E.A.N.M. Banks.
But then
I read more of them.
They got worse.
And they steadily got, like, it's still good. So I think it's still probably my top series, but it's definitely on the decline. Oh, actually, so it's definitely Dark Tower. Dark Tower is now my top series.
Okay. So
as a cohesive entire series.
For me, I like, there's two series that I really enjoy. One of them is called Star Force, which is sort of a dumb, like 80s action movie turned into a series of novels about a computer science professor who leads the human race to fight an army of intergalactic alien robots. Okay. So that's a pretty good one. Star Force. And then there's a series called Codex Alera, which is kind of fantasy, but it's got its own thing going on. So it's not, generic orc, dwarf, elf bullshit fantasy. It just has a really cool magic system and lots of really interesting characters. And it follows the story. It's not like a Harry Potter-esque kind of a story where the main character is like the chosen one sort of a thing. It actually follows this
like a farm boy.
It follows like the shittiest character in the sense that
he's the only one in the world who has no ability.
He has
to do
no
what everybody
magic.
else does.
Like their whole society is built around the use of magic.
He's a freak.
And they like even all of their political structures and everything are based on, sort of like bloodlines of who has the strongest magic in their lineage and stuff. And he just doesn't have any. And he's the only person. And the story follows him.
Does he develop it and then become the chosen one?
No.
Wow. But that's an impressive sort of trope.
Yeah.
It's good.
Avoidance.
He just sucks. And so he has to be crafty.
Yeah.
He's very clever.
So,
I think mine is, besides Codex Alera, which I highly recommend, there's Mistborn, which is phenomenal. Good sci-fi or fantasy, I guess, with a really good magic system. And then the other one is it's the Name of the Wind is the first book in it. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the King Killer Chronicles or some crap like that. The third book is not out yet, and it's so good that you'll probably be really upset about the fact the third book isn't out yet. So maybe just wait on that.
just wait.
But Codex Alera is about 6,000 pages worth of goodness, so go ahead and get on that.
I think it's interesting
Got
that people
time.
always talk about binge watching Netflix shows, but nobody ever talks about binge reading book series.
I mean, Codex Alera, because
You got to be careful.
that was one of the first books that I got on my Kindle, which of course you can just immediately buy the next one, which is very different.
That's what I did with the Culture series.
Yeah, so I didn't sleep for one whole night, and I just read 3 of the books.
Yeah, I started reading it when I was on the
bad.
plane to India, which was 30 hours of travel.
Yeah.
And my wife just saw me just read this book for days and days and days. And she's like, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it's this book. It's pretty good." And
I'm just hallucinating vividly over here. Don't worry
and
about it.
so she was like, "Well, I'll read the first one." And so she started reading it, and then she just basically took my Kindle, and I didn't get it back for
Make
for
sure you
weeks.
carve out a good couple days. All right, next question comes from Gafferman, who says, long time no ask. Hey, Gafferman. Nice to have you back.
Hey,
You guys are really outdoing yourself with your post-launch support of Crashlands, with the creator being the cherry on top. But besides being super customer friendly, is the creator in particular a good business move? Let's talk about this for a sec, because probably not.
Probably. Well, no, but let's take a step back. Because what does it mean to be a good business move? Because one of the things is, as we were talking about previously, is to have people pay attention to what you're doing so that the next time you make a big business move in the more sort of conventional sense, like launch a game, right? People
or just doing a dance.
then people give more shits, right, about the thing.
Mhm.
So we don't know what the creator is going to do. We're thinking of it it's purely an experiment where we don't think it's going to cause us to sell infinite copies of Crashlands. We don't think it's going to necessarily even be a huge boost to the sort of final success of Crashlands. The main thing we wanted to do is provide an opportunity for players to provide their own content and their own stories in the game so that we can then finally just say, we are now done developing Crashlands.
It's here, community.
Product.
You
now
you
we're
make
turning it
it.
over
You
to you.
make the game now.
Exactly. Now you can do whatever you want.
You're so
and-
good. It's your fucking problem. Because I'm done. I'm moving on.
Exactly. And but the hope is that what having the creator will do is allow players to have more reasons to keep playing the game and to talk about it and tell other people about it, so that the constantly decaying tail of the game that we currently have, which will soon make the game not worth supporting at all, because it'll make so little money that it would be just stupid from a business perspective, because we'll just go bankrupt and have to fire all of our employees to keep
And
supporting
ourselves.
it, and ourselves as employees. So
And our dogs.
yeah, they
Coco's
will
gonna be out of work.
Coco will
Yep.
starve to death.
Yep.
So we don't want puppies to starve to death.
Yeah,
Nah,
basically that's
Nobody does.
Which means we have to we have to move on to a next project is the thing that definitely has to happen. And the other thing that we want to do though is just say, what is the one final move we can make that has a decent likelihood of slowing the decay or even reversing it? So, again, not trying to pull a ton of money out of like the end stages of Crashlands, but just make it so that it can kind of support itself over time.
Yeah. Just so that there's more new interesting things happening to make people want to stick around more.
Yeah.
It's a big experiment, truthfully.
Yeah, we have no.
And it's going to be an
answers
experiment in managing user created content,
Yep.
community content.
Yep.
We got to try to develop some systems to make that
It
happen.
may be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Who knows?
In a lot of
If
ways,
it is,
will
I
be.
mean, don't worry, we're building in some kill switches.
Yeah, we'll turn that fucker
So
right
if
off.
you people just cover everything with dicks,
Which we know is going to happen because it's
yeah.
This is what
And if we
happens.
can't figure out a good way to stop it, then we're just gonna
dick
burn it
apocalypse.
down.
Yeah,
we will
yeah.
not support the dick
No,
apocalypse.
and we do not run as you listeners all know probably. We don't run by the freedom of speech, do whatever you want, it's your right model. We run by this is our shit.
Yeah, you're in my house.
You're in my house.
And in my house, we don't put dicks all over the walls, guys.
Yeah.
Would you stop?
Just stop dicking up the walls.
All right, next question comes from Jinx Soul. I think this is a new person.
Woo!
Welcome, Jinx Soul.
Welcome.
Who says, what happened to Tau Fight 1? And will there be a prequel released for Tau Fight 2? So if we released a prequel for Tau Fight 2, the reality is it would actually have to be Tau Fight 1.5 because
Or
Tau
Tau
Fight-
Fight 2, the prequel.
Or,
Or Tau
or
Fight
just
2.
Tau Fight 3, the prequel.
the prequel 2 with the digit.
We'll call it Tau Fight
2
3, the beginning
of Tau Fight 2.
of Tau Fight 2.
Or if it was Tau Fight 3, the sequel to Towel Fight, which is actually and a prequel to Towel Fight.
Oh, yeah.
The sequel to Tau Fight and the prequel to Tau Fight 2.
So there's kind of an interesting
Or
problem
the
here,
prequel to
which
Towel
is
Fight
the
and a sequel to Towel
prequel.
Fight 2.
The prequel to Tau Fight 2 is a jam game that we made. It was the first game that Sam and I ever made as a duo, and it was.
Pretty sure you can play it on the website. Is it up there?
I think it's still there. It was called Tau Fight of the Gods.
Mhm.
And it was more of an inspiration for Tau Fight 2, more so than a prequel.
Very loose.
Yeah, because none of the characters that are the same are that I've carried in through the universe is just Pete.
Well, and Quetzalcoatl, which was supposed to be the other god,
Right, which is
which
now
was
Hugo
got
Duco.
turned into Hugo Duco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you never see these characters. They are only mentioned by name because
During a
jam game.
voiceover.
Yeah, during a voiceover.
So yeah, so this is I guess Tau Fight, the original Tau Fight, is the origin of the Viru race. In
Yeah.
the,
Which are the evil laser-headed
And-
guys.
And so, yeah, in the
universe.
original Tau Fight, you are pulled into the arena of the gods, where basically you could think of it as sort of Hugo and Pete are just having a friendly, like fucking with the world kind of thing.
Mhm.
And they sucked through a wormhole a dude who was just taking a shower. They replaced his arms with bananas and gave him a cannon of through which he would shoot animals out of.
Mhm.
And they put this guy in the arena, and then they just send waves of minions after him. And whichever minion the little guy shoots first, he will side with the other god. So if you shoot a land creature, then you side with Pete because Pete's the god of the sea.
and vice versa.
And Pete will bestow upon you a series of projectiles to shoot out of your banana arm.
So really, the only thing we kept from the original Tau Fight was the projectile system, which
Yes.
is these different
Shooting
animals that
with-
have different qualities as far as bullets.
Not
go.
shooting animals,
Yep.
shooting animals as projectiles,
bullets.
which is much more humane.
Yeah. But as far as sequels and stuff go in general, I think the next title we're going to start working on is Quadrupus 2. We're starting to ramp up on that, and so we will probably be revisiting and building out parts of the universe that we never got to do because we didn't know what we were doing. It didn't have any.
We could do
bandwidth.
Quadrupus 3.
We could just skip to, and people be like, "Where? I didn't follow you guys for 3 years. I don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
Where did the second one go? I can't find it anywhere."
Well, if I've learned one thing about the games industry, it's the higher number you put on a
The more
game,
money it makes.
then the more money it makes. So
Yeah.
if we could just go ahead and just skip
Does it work with decimals? Could you be like 3.141?
141? Yeah.
Will people be like,
It's
"Oh,
probably
that's
it's probably a marginal improvement. I imagine.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
Most
we're
people don't understand.
right now. I think
decimals.
we're on something like Battlefield 92 or something like that, and of
Yeah.
course every single one does.
Well, no,
better.
they reverted back to 1.
Oh,
'cause
well,
they
now
went
they're
s-
not going to make any money.
They went so high, they were like, "We got to start at the beginning."
I guess
Well, here's a
Xbox
question.
did the same thing.
'Cause
They went up
for-
to 360, and they're like, "Oh fuck, this is too big. We got to go back down to 1."
Well, for sales and marketing stuff, you're supposed to choose the higher number between the percentage and the actual discount that you're giving in terms of raw dollars, right? So if it's like 20% off a product, but it's less than $20, then you're supposed to, or 20,
then you use
increments
the
of-
percent.
then you use the percent because it seems like a better deal. So my question is,
So instead of saying
What
it's
if-
$1 off, you say it's half off. Or
Yeah.
It's 50% off.
if you're like, "Wow, what a deal!" But if you're like, "It's $1 off," they're like, "What?"
Who gives a
I don't
fuck
give
about
a
$1?
So my question is, should
mobile
we
sales.
Yeah.
should we actually take a percentage and say this is
Mm.
Quadrupus
200%.
or 3,000%? Because there's going to be way more stuff in it,
True. Yeah.
and it's sort of like a bigger version.
We could just cut the percent and just call it Quadrupus 3000,
Ooh yeah.
That's a good. That's a good name.
which we might run into some Andre 3000 trademark
That's from
disputes.
the
We could
net.
just do $29.99.
Oh, this also reminds me.
Although
speaking
people
of,
feel like that's closer to 2,000.
speaking of what to
3,000.
call Quadrupus, we learned that there is a cracked, translated Chinese version of Quadrupus Rampage floating around, and there is no Chinese analog for the word quadrupus.
And they didn't get what we were
trying to
dealing
say.
with.
Yeah, and so they just called it Berserking Magic Man.
Which is good. Maybe that's what we'll call Quadrupus 2. Berserking Magic Man.
Oh my god.
Two.
Too good.
Too good. All right. Final question comes from Volbeater, who. Why are you beating all those voles,
Chill
man?
out. Chill
Take it
out.
down a notch.
Plus, how much can you beat a vole?
I think
It depends
one-
on the-
just one.
Probably just depends on the implement you use. If you use like a Q-tip, you just wail on
Go to
it.
town on that vole.
Vole Q-tip beater.
Volbeater. God damn, you guys this is weird. Maybe it's Volb Eater.
Ooh, yeah,
It's a Juice Mancy patch situation. The emphasis is hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Let's go with Volb Eater.
Volb Eater. So who
No,
asked,
Volb Eater.
if you could fly to Mars, would you do it? And I just want to back this up because the phrasing of this question is so phenomenal. Because if I could just fly to Mars, I'd do it. If I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a walk and then I'm gonna take a quick fly to Mars.
I'm just gonna take a quick fly.
I'm we're gonna go see the stars a little bit. I'd
This
do
is
it.
something that I've always kind of wondered about: is if you're traveling through space, are you flying?
I mean, you can just define flying however you want.
Because
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
getting
think
into
so.
semantics here.
Well, no, because I mean, there's
If by
no,
flying you mean using lift by being on top of a cushion of air.
there's no
No,
definitely
aerodynamics.
not.
You are
there's
rocketing, though.
there's no even propulsion needed, right? Like once you're up there, you just sit, you're just hanging
Oh,
out.
you tend to still propel though.
So I guess
To
the question
some
then said
extent.
this: would you hang out to Mars?
Yeah, I'd hang out tomorrow.
Okay, what about because the Mars mission is supposed to be coming up, right? So everyone's been talking about would you go and be one of the first colonists on Mars?
No, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let that shit's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let
bad-
that settle
yeah.
for a while.
As bad as 2016 World is, which is pretty fucking bad.
It's still not Mars.
It is
2016
way better than being on
2016
Mars.
Mars is garbage.
Yeah. It's literally a planet with like 5% of the air pressure that we have.
And you can't even breathe what's there.
Well, I mean, because you couldn't even, it's a vacuum. You
Yeah.
can't even suck into your lungs.
Yeah,
even if
I'm
it
saying
was
I'm
there.
saying just gas composition wise.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's
if you-
not
even if you
shit
compress
can
it,
use.
you can't eat it.
You know,
It's got like one pond on it, so there's almost no water there.
the crazy thing to me is, has everybody saw The Martian? I mean, you know,
what's gonna
You
happen.
know what's gonna happen. You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
you're gonna have
I'm not that MacGyver-y.
You're gonna have to shit on some potatoes
and then eat them.
Although the
And
premise
only shitty potatoes.
the premise of the I always thought this was kind of interesting because the premise of the disaster in The Martian that kicks off the whole thing is that there's this windstorm that blows the rocket over, which again, if their atmosphere is 5% of the density of Earth's atmosphere, there's literally no windstorm that could knock that fucking rocket over.
It'd have to be. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was moving real fast.
Yeah.
No, I
They
mean-
they go like
I mean-
300 miles an hour, some crazy shit.
Dude, 300 miles an hour of basically nothing. Like, what is that? That's not a.
You'd be like, oh, this is a gentle breeze that I barely feel.
Yeah, you're like, this is a fast moving yet basically nothing breeze. Right?
But I know they
So
have.
every now and then, just one of your hairs be like, and kind of blow back, but that's it.
They must. Yeah, actually, how does that work? There must be some real vigorous storms if they can do damage.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it just blows sand around. And sand is, of course, extremely.
Yeah, I mean, you'll
corrosive.
get some
Yeah.
sand in your.
But is it
cracks.
going to blow over a
It's not gonna blow over a rocket.
10-ton rocket?
Yeah, because there's stuff like the astronaut is like they're trying to like push against the storm and they blow away and fly and like shit's getting ripped off.
And
of
you're
there.
saying they'd just be walking through some sand.
There would be a lot of sand blowing around, but they just be like, oh fuck, and they would just walk. They'd be like, it's super dusty, right?
It'd be like fog.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fog. It'd be like a 300-mile-an-hour fog. So,
So how fast does wind have to be going on Mars before it can
before it can blow something
before
over.
it can blow something?
It sounds like an XKCD question.
It does sound like it's probably answered on there.
But yeah,
somewhere.
because this was something I love space travel and sciencey shit. So I was reading a whole bunch of stuff, and I loved The Martian. But I was reading a bunch of sort of discussion boards about how realistic it was, and everybody's like, yeah, everything about it is super good. Except for the entire premise of how it started. And the thing is, it didn't need, like, there's so many things that could have gone wrong.
Oh yeah.
That it didn't need to happen like that.
But it
right?
was pretty spectacular.
It was spectacular to be fair. So,
So I guess long story short, yeah, we'd all hang out to Mars, but
For a moment,
for just like going for a drive, if that's the equivalent.
you might as well just go to the Grand Canyon. It looks the same.
and you can breathe.
And you can breathe.
Yeah.
There's plants.
Yeah.
If
You
get
don't
lost.
need
And you
specialized
can just
equipment.
there's a store nearby. You could just go like buy some.
You don't
food.
need to poop on potatoes.
No.
There you go. Let's go.
I mean, you
Well,
can.
you could.
But you get the option because and this is America and we're all about freedom of choice,
I
Although
feel like
you
our,
might get in trouble. If people see you pooping on potatoes.
I feel like our pragmatism is sort of overriding the dream here, which is like everyone's like, let's go to Mars. We're like, just go to the Grand Canyon, guys. It's so much more practical.
No, I think
Well, the question is,
we
why
need
would
to-
you want to go to Mars?
Well,
Like, there's no good
I mean,
reason.
just because, but I think this is the thing, right? Because humans do this all the time. Where you're like, oh, we could go to Mars. People are like, why the fuck would you go to Mars? And they're like, because we can, because it's in the purview of things that we could
Well,
accomplish.
I think there are a lot of things that are
We
interesting
must.
about it, and I think it'd be cool. It's cool as a human mission to go do.
Mhm.
But for an individual person making that decision, am I going to go to Mars? The question is, why the fuck?
I think you need
Are
to
you
need to
gonna
think
do
about
that?
it sort of like how humans are a sort of viral invasive species.
True.
Right? And so we hit a point where we kind of fill the available space and we're like, we got to go, we got to keep going. We got to keep spreading,
Mhm.
So for a while we were stuck here on Earth and starting to get a little full, right?
a little hot. A
It's
lot of
getting
bodies.
getting a little packed. What about the moon? What if we just went to that?
But to me, the funniest part of this whole thing is that without a doubt, we are fucking up this planet really hard, right?
Mhm.
And so everyone's like, I guess, like, I don't see any end in sight to us fucking this thing up. We just
let's go fuck up another thing.
Well,
Well,
not even that.
it's already
Let's
fucked
go,
up.
Yeah, let's go to a place like there's the level at which Earth has to be fucked up before it's anything like as fucked up as Mars or the Moon
It's tremendous.
is enormous.
Yeah, but there's nobody
Like-
there, so you could go there. And I think there's also an important point there, which is if we go to Mars and we want to actually colonize it and have people live there, then we have to terraform it,
Mhm.
which means we have to develop on purpose a respect for nature that we couldn't have had on Earth because it was just handed to us,
Yeah.
right? So we have to go
yeah.
there and we have to like.
It's like buying your own car.
Yeah.
You know?
So think about this, like, on Earth, people are like, fuck this. And they just like throw a wrapper out the window and then
then
they just
Martian-
like dump their cup out, whatever.
By the way, if you do that, you can go straight to
You do
hell.
that, fuck you.
But if you do that around a Martian raised human, oh man, they're
death
gonna
penalty.
they're
You
gonna they're gonna break you in half.
Yeah, the
with
entire-
their tiny muscles because the
Yeah.
gravity's way weaker.
but they'll be super tall because their spine is all stretchy.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, gross.
yeah, people just turn into these weird noodle people with like long arms and they have no muscles. And But yeah, so I mean, because we have to make
It's
a
gonna get
concerted
weird.
effort as an entire species just to make this place livable, then if you fuck it up,
So you're saying, Seth, that we should go to Mars to
just to get like
to actually learn some goddamn respect
for
Well,
our
planet.
ecosystem.
But the problem is that there will still be all those Earth people who still don't give a fuck.
Then you're gonna have a war.
Exactly. So it's
you're gonna have basically just a bunch of sort of like hippies.
But here's
on
the question,
Mars.
'cause, like,
Yeah,
what
but they need
could
to be nuclear armed so they can shoot nukes back at
well,
Earth.
you're gonna have nuclear hippies.
nuclear
on
hippies,
Mars.
like nuclear Gandhi.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
but what? So if you were on Mars as like a country, what could
The country of Mars.
the country of Mars? What
It's real
could
big.
a Earth, like a sort of Earth origined missile hit besides your stuff, besides like your colony, to cause you any sort of problem whatsoever? Because
Well,
it's
your
fucking
colony,
Mars.
though.
Well, I mean, besides your colony, though, right?
Okay, but I think that would be sufficient.
if they did hit you, that would be bad.
I'm presuming that my point is that what would be the point of like throwing a missile at a barren planet?
I mean, you can still irradiate it.
Just you got to send a message to those.
But you
upstart
can't
hippies.
irradiate it because there's not enough air
Stuff.
going around to make the fallout happen, right? Think about it. If there's like
but the ground would be irradiated. But yeah, but that's true. Like, but they wouldn't even hear it because there isn't enough air.
If
to
anything,
carry
it would just
sound.
if anything, it would just warm it up nicely. You'd be like, "Oh, that's great.
That's
That's
great.
good. Thank you."
getting some extra
Thank you.
sun.
Yeah, I think
That's true, a little
hitting
more sun.
Mars. I mean, it's already hard enough to send a probe there that has parachutes and can land and self-guided.
well, it's probably a
everything like
lot easier to send something that doesn't have to do all those
That's
things.
true.
Probably, but it's still. But the thing is a missile still effective, sort of at detonating and everything, if it's traveling at something like 25,000 miles per hour?
It's probably real good at it. Also,
I imagine it would just kind of like hit and just kind of be like just turn into a turn,
You probably-
turn into
you
a
probably
tin
don't
can.
even
but you can
need-
blow it up in the atmosphere or something.
Well, also you don't even need to put explosives on it. Just make it go real fast.
Yeah, there's like that
Don't even worry
movie
about
where they drop the fucking, what is it? On London, they drop this big like platinum rod or something from space and it like nukes the entire city.
Oh yeah. What is that movie? I know what you're talking about.
Oh, this reminds me of that stupid Avengers Age of
It's like
Ultron.
it's like a rail gun
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
But okay, we got to wrap this episode up. But I just need to say this
It's
about
just got
the
a bone to
Avengers
pick.
because that movie. For those who haven't seen it, don't even worry about it. I'm going to spoil it for you. So,
Pause real quick.
The bad guy in Avengers: Age of Ultron, he's like, okay, I need to do significant damage to the world.
Well, I think before you get into that, we need to point out that it's a robot who's connected to the internet.
it's a robot.
And I'm pretty
That is
sure
connected to the internet.
he's basically on Twitter, and that's what his problem is.
Yeah.
he's like, just fuck this whole thing.
He wakes up and he's like, oh yeah, I feel great. Let me just log
Let me
in
just jack
real
into
quick.
Twitter real quick.
And then he's like, oh God, I got to take care of this. And so he just gets all mad. And also probably as a robot who is in tune with the internet, he has the capacity to do all kinds of damage to government institutions, to try to like take command of nuclear warheads, spread propaganda. He could do all manner of very simple and highly damaging things. But instead, he goes, you know what I'm going to build an army of robots, send them underground around in a sort of a perimeter around one particular town. Then I'm going to install a fuckload of highly technologically advanced jet engines underground.
yeah.
Then we're going to lift this city up out of the ground up to cruising altitude and then drop it on the ground again. And the shockwave from dropping this city is going to annihilate the planet because it'll be like the planet got hit by an asteroid. Okay.
Yeah, this also sounds like the sort of terrible idea that you would find on the internet. So maybe,
Yeah. Maybe that's where he got it. But so the problem with this is like there were so many easy things that he could have done. And instead he picked what was obviously the most cinematically spectacular one, right? But the fact is, if you just picked up a city, which in essence was sort of like a giant flat disc, okay, the air cushion from that flat giant disc that's miles across, and but also starting at zero, right? So like you bring it up to 30,000 feet,
and then drop it.
it's not moving, and you just drop it, right? That's very different from an asteroid coming in
Like
at
30,000
miles an hour and smashing into the Earth. So you
It's
just
just
like
going to hit terminal velocity.
it hits terminal velocity almost instantly, and it can't
basically floats.
Yeah, it can't exceed something like 200 miles per hour, right? Just because it has this huge air cushion underneath it, and so it it'll just kind of fall, and people like you'll hear it'll hit. Obviously, the city's destroyed, and it'll be kind of like a little bit of a shake, kind of an earthquakey situation in the nearby vicinity, and that's it. So for this technologically advanced robot who's like, I'm going to destroy the whole planet, the Avengers could have just been like, well, just let him do it. Like, just let him do his thing, So that was it.
Let him tire out.
That was my, I can't believe
Ultron.
I can't believe the Avengers had such a terrible bad guy rant.
All right, well, that's been it for this episode of Coffee with Butterscotch. So check in with us next week for episode number 76.
And ask questions at podcast.pscotch.net.
And tell all your
for
friends.
the 2D artist position at jobs.pscotch.net. And
Give us a rating, give us a review, give us a comment, give us a thumb. Tell your grandma.
Give us an award, and we'll use it to get other awards.
Yeah, you got any awards? Give them to us. We'll take them.
we'll be a Katamari award monster.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.